For coming out tonight. My name is Bill Marsh. I work for Veterans Bridge Home. Don't quite run it, not quite yet. I do run operations in South Carolina. Thanks to a very generous grant from the Boeing Corporation, which allows me to operate in South Carolina, because you know you can't come to South Carolina with North Carolina money. So we had to get a grant from Boeing in order to try and support our efforts down here to work with South Carolina veterans. So who is Veterans Bridge Home? So Veterans Bridge Home is essentially a resource navigator. We try to get veterans connected to the right resource in the quickest amount of time. Then we kind of follow up with them and we capture that data to make sure that we're influencing positive changes for veterans at the local, state, and national level. Because very few people, I'm sure Brent will probably say, you have an Excel spreadsheet where you kind of keep all the data, right? So we collect data on lots of different organizations and really make a very positive change. I'll just quick example. The VA has recently supported veteran service organizations with what is called the Staff Sergeant Gordon Parker Fox Grant. Some of you may have heard of it. It's $750,000 given to organizations to try and assist with soldier suicide, with reducing soldier suicide. This is really the first major effort that the VA has made into trying to work with veteran organizations on the ground like Sentinels Fellowship, because they realize that they can't do it on their own. They know they're failing miserably. And so with a what is it? I think it's a 33-point-something billion budget. They've decided that they're going to try and connect and partner with veteran-serving organizations like Veterans Bridge Home to try and help reduce soldier suicide. And we're going to talk a little bit about soldier suicide tonight. I'm going to give you a couple of very practical ways that everybody can get involved to help reduce that number. And that is, that's what we do. It's not quite part of the Sergeant Parker grant, but thanks to Boeing, we get to come down here and talk about it a little bit. So, bottom line is Veterans Bridge Home serves as an entry point for veterans who don't know where to turn to get support or service. So what does that look like in South Carolina? Well, it's about getting connected. So when we talk about getting connected, what do we talk about? Right? So as we get a little older, and I will include myself in this, as we get a little older, we don't want to get connected. We don't want to be, I am very much this guy right now, and my lawnmower is broken. So if you're on my lawn, I'm like, get off my lawn unless you have a lawnmower. Right? Anybody feel this way? I don't want to get connected. I want to step back. I want to kind of, right? I don't want to come out to an event like this, even though the food was awesome. Thank you very much. Whoever cooked the food, thank you. Even though the food is awesome, I don't want to come out. I don't want to be connected. I want to be left alone. I want to be this guy in my easy chair, right? So what if I told you that there was a way to get connected while you're sitting in your easy chair at 2 a.m. in the morning? Because we know that veterans who are not connected are more likely to reach for, at 2 o'clock in the morning, sitting in their armchair, a what? A weapon, if they're feeling some kind of way. We want to give them a choice. We want to give them a choice so that they don't reach for the weapon, they reach for the phone, right? And if you have a smartphone and an email address, and you know how many people know how to turn on the flashlight on their phone? Okay, right? It sounds real simple. It's this simple. You can get connected that easily from your armchair at home. I'm going to show you how. There's a couple of programs that the state of South Carolina has rolled out. This is one, the South Carolina Veterans Coalition, powered by Combined Arms. This is the other one, the Palmetto Pathfinder program. Anybody heard of either of these two programs? Perfect, that's why I'm here. So the Palmetto Pathfinder program, well, this is actually why I'm here. These are the numbers from the VA website. Everybody talks about the suicide rate for a certain age is very high, and it is. But look at this number right here. 55 and over. That's where the largest number, the actual number is, right? And because what we were just talking about, getting connected, the older we get, we don't want to be connected, we don't want to bother, we don't want to be bothered, we want to sit in our easy chair and be left alone. Well, this number right here is why I'm here. We know that veterans of a certain age are technology resistant, right? We don't like new technology. This one I'm about to show you tonight, and I can walk you through it, but we're going to do it pretty quickly tonight. But if anybody wants additional training on how to create a profile on the internet, which is what I'm going to talk to you a little bit in just a second, and I don't want you to worry about that. I know some people have feelings about getting on the internet, and you know, it's okay. The Chinese already have all of our information. It's okay to be on the internet. It's all right. Don't worry. Now, big guess as to how veterans are taking their own life. Any wild guesses in South Carolina? Handguns, right? It's about having a weapon in the home. So this is South Carolina. Everybody's got a weapon in their home. I have gun locks with me in case you don't have a gun lock and you have weapons in the home and you feel like, hey, Mr. Bill, I think I'd like a gun lock. I have those with me. But that's one of the ways that we're trying to help reduce that urge. When you're in the armchair at 2 in the morning, we don't want you to reach for the weapon. We want you to get connected. We want you to get online. We want you to get on your phone. If you're looking at your weapon and it's locked up, that's a good thing. So the Palmetto Pathfinder program is a veteran volunteer program where a veteran who feels like they've transitioned successfully reaches back and helps a veteran who is in transition. Does that make sense? Like a sponsorship program, right? Remember when we used to change bases? When you got to your new post, somebody would be there to help get you connected to those local resources, show you kind of the lay of the land. This is exactly the Palmetto Pathfinder program. We try to get veteran volunteers who have successfully transitioned to help veterans who are in transition. Now, we know transition is a vulnerable time. It doesn't necessarily mean military to civilian. If you're retiring or you're retired, you're in transition. If you're looking for a new house or you're looking for a new job, you're in transition. So there are lots of times, different times when you're in transition that is, it's kind of scary. You feel like, oh, I'm all by myself out here. Well, the Palmetto Pathfinder is a veteran that you can connect to who will walk alongside you as you go through that transition. Make sense? It's a great program. The state of South Carolina Department of Veterans Affairs pays for 3 days of training at a beautiful exotic site somewhere in South Carolina. I went to Clemson, not that exotic, but they also do the training in Myrtle Beach. They've done it down in St. Christopher. So if that's something that you're interested in, please see me afterwards. I'll give you some more information. They do have training coming up in Columbia in July, I think is the next training, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. And the state pays for everything. They pay for your lodging and food for 3 days. And it's good training. So the South Carolina Veterans Coalition, powered by Combined Arms. Mr. Bill, what is that? So this is what the coalition looks like. This is a housing coalition. It's just a group of veteran serving organizations that get together on a network platform. So the platform is Salesforce. If any of you guys are IT folks, you understand what Salesforce is. Combined Arms is the company that has created that. It's a veteran-facing self-referral platform. So essentially, a veteran creates their own profile. They decide who they want to connect to. That organization gets an email through the system, and that organization reaches out directly to that veteran. So essentially, in your armchair at 2 o'clock in the morning, you can connect to a veteran organization and get the service that you need through Combined Arms. So this is, and I wish he was here tonight because he lives in Fort Mill. This is Director of Operations Dave Rizell with the South Carolina Department of Veterans Affairs. He's been going around all over the state trying to get providers or those veteran service organizations like Sentinel Fellowship into the network. So it's a fairly new thing. The more providers we get in the network, the more people veterans have to connect to. Who knows what that is? Right? Tell me you don't have, you're young. Tell me you don't have one on your desk still. Okay. Yes, this is a Rolodex. So when I started this work about 10 years ago, I was working with homeless veterans in Charlotte with Goodwill up there. I had one of these on my desk. So a veteran would come into me and he'd be like, oh, Mr. Bill, you know, I need some help with housing. And I would get on my Rolodex and I'd look a number up and have a name and a number and hand it to him, and then I would do this. Go make a call, man. Is that a best practice for our veterans? Absolutely not. No, with the technology that we have today, this is unacceptable. I will not give a veteran that I'm working with names and numbers and have them just go out and contact people. When I have the technology to be able to do this, right? Now, you love my illustration, right? The veteran is at the center of a network of organizations that connect to the veteran, right? The veteran reaches out and says, hey, I need help with, well, this is a perfect example. There is a Marine literally down the street from here. His name is Mr. Coffin. I'm sure he wouldn't mind if I gave his name out. He owns a house right here at the bottom of the intersection of, what is that? What's the road that comes off of, oh, never mind. Pinewood? What's the street that runs next to O'Reilly's? What's the name of that road? Oh, you guys are killing me.
Christopher Circle.
What is it?
Christopher Circle, I thought.
No, it's literally down the road from here. Anyway. What? No, it's not Dunlap. So, Mr. Cobb, okay, I got my directions. I'm Army, so what do I do? If I don't have a compass, I don't know where I am. So, Mr. Coffin is a Vietnam-era Marine. He served from 1968 to 1972. He owns his home. The city of Rock Hill wanted to evict him from his home because he hasn't had his utilities on in 3 years. Now, he's the homeowner. Now, I have a problem with that. I'll just be very honest. I'm a homeowner. I can choose if I want to have my utilities on, yes or no. The city disagreed. Like, okay, that's fine. We were able to connect into the Semper Fi Fund, who found an organization that would pay his past due bill from 3 years ago, which was almost $1,000. But the city wanted his house cleaned up. They wanted his yard cleaned up. They said it was a little messy. They didn't like it. So they wanted. So we found an organization to come out and help clean up his yard. Now the eviction part is they're still looking to evict him because unfortunately after 3 years of not having your utilities on, there's a little bit of work that needs to be done. So before we can turn the water on, we got to have a plumber come out and check out, right, and give me an estimate so that I can then take that estimate to another veteran service organization that might be able to assist him. The city also wants his electricity. Like they want the meter needs to be updated. I get it. Some stuff needs to come up to code. But you see what I'm saying? This is the connection. This is the South Carolina Veterans Coalition in action. This is information comes to me and I connect the veteran to other organizations, right, to get that veteran the help that they need. And I'll let you know who that is, like where he is, because he is literally not even a mile from here. So through the network, right, the South Carolina Veterans Coalition powered by Combined Arms, we can help veterans. This is South Carolina Department of Veterans Affairs website. And all you got to do to create your own profile is to click right there where it says create client profile. It's super simple. Then it'll take you to this page right here. You are the veteran. You give some general information, some contact information, some address information, some military information. like I said, don't worry about the information part. One of the things that, so Combined Arms was started by a couple of Marines. Despite that, it runs pretty well. When you log in, there it is. I knew somebody was I was waiting for a crayon joke. This is what it looks like when you log in. You're going to go to Find Resources, and these are some of the resources that you can connect to. All you got to do is click on one, so like career services. Here's my fancy, I'll do that. Technology, man, you gotta love it. So let's say you're looking to create a LinkedIn profile. Brent, I noticed that you're not on LinkedIn. Are you?
I was.
You were, okay. So if you wanted to create a LinkedIn profile, you can go to create your account in South Carolina Veterans Coalition. You come here, you click on LinkedIn. Hey, there's Veterans Bridge Home. Hey, I can select them. You hit connect now. And then what happens is I get an email that says Brent wants to create a LinkedIn account, and I'll reach out to him and we'll have that conversation about how to do that. Does that make sense? I ran through that super quick. Anybody have any questions? The profile part, building the profile part out, really only takes about 15 minutes. It is super simple. And we are trying to encourage veterans to create their own account and then to go ahead and start using the system. If there is an organization that is not in there that you want in there, tell me. If you want your organization to be in there, I can get you connected. It is free for veteran service organizations to sign up. There's, of course, there's a little bit of paperwork, blah, 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 right? You do this, we're gonna do that. But we want veteran service organizations to be a part of that network because we want veterans to be able to connect to you, and we want you to be able to connect to those veterans. Make sense? That is, if you guys don't have any questions, I'm gonna turn it over to Tony. I've got some brochures, Palmetto Pathfinder brochures that I brought with me. And then you know how to get a hold of me anytime. And I'm gonna give, if you're all interested, I'm gonna give you the information for Mr. Kaufman, who's right down the street. Sound good? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Tony Cirillo. What? Oh, you want?
I don't have any overheads, but I just need your help. And what I'm asking for, I am a pastor. I'm actually the veteran outreach pastor for the Pineville Church. And I also started an organization called Veteran Spiritual Provider Network. Now what that is I've tried, and I am trying to get a number of churches throughout North and South Carolina to come together as a coalition for veterans who are in need and no organization can help them at that time. For example, I had a veteran a few months ago. He was already in Habitat for Humanity. He's a disabled veteran. Habitat was modifying his house for him, for his wheelchair and so on and so forth. Well, he had used up all the money that Habitat had given him. So for him to get back into the program, he needed $350. There's no one that's going to give him $350. I reached out. Now I belong to the American Legion in Steel Creek. It was something that I had to do very quickly, so I just reached out to my Legion commander, and he has the ability to write checks up to $500. Oh no, that was not him. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I reached out to a Presbyterian church in Steel Creek. He just said, "Who do I send it to? Give me all the information." He wrote the check for $350. What I was thinking about was Bill and I were involved with a gentleman last week. This gentleman called me on a Monday evening. I was on vacation, as a matter of fact. He's crying on the phone that no one wants him. They took his dog. He's been homeless for 7 months. He's tried everyone. Nobody's contacting him, et cetera, et cetera. Then his girlfriend got on the phone, and she's telling me he's not on his meds, so he's all over the place. So I notified Bill right away, because he's South Carolina. And Bill said, we need to get this guy a hotel. I called my Legion commander. This is 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I called my Legion commander. He said, tell the desk to call me. And Bill put him up for a week. So this is the kind of thing that I would like either this organization, other VFWs, American Legions, and churches to get involved with, so we can move very quickly for these people. Because a lot of times, these guys will reach out to a VSO, and you know what that happens, okay? You know, I called my VSO 2.5 months ago, and then I called her again a month later. Did you get the call back? I haven't gotten anything. So this thing is working, it's good, and if I could get you guys to step up, I'd love to do that, okay? That's number one. The other thing is your individual churches. Now, I was only able to make 5 of these copies because before I came here, my printer decided not to work. So it's like the young people today, you know? They decide they're not going to work. So anyway, listen, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Anyway, so what I asked the churches for is their time, talent, or treasure. Now in time, okay? Do you have any volunteers that could take this veteran to a doctor visit and back home again? Okay, so I would call your church and I say there's a veteran in your community, in your church community, that needs a ride Friday from point A to point B. Do you have a volunteer? The other thing is, now I got a veteran that needs car work. Here's the talent. This veteran needs $350 worth of work at this mechanic's place. Now remember, everyone, I want to tell everybody, I don't get any money. No money, I don't want it passing through me. This money, first of all, VVH vets these guys and makes sure that they are veterans through their DD-214s, etc. Once we know they're veterans, Bill will get a hold of me and say, the guy needs $350 to get his car repaired. I ask the churches, you got a mechanic in there that can help this guy out? Maybe he could pay costs for the parts, and the mechanic can help him. And the treasure, that's something very easy to understand. Do you have money that can help these guys out? And we're not looking for lavish stuff. I got guys that need $7,000 to get their cars repaired. No, we're not going to do that for them. The other thing is, now here's where we need your time, okay? Bill and I received an email today, and this is what the email says. Now, are you all familiar with honor flight? You know what the honor flights are?
Yes.
Okay, so we got an email today. It says, hey guys, our counties are going on an honor flight on April 29th from Ashe, Allegheny, Wilkes, Watauga, and Avery. Problem is, we haven't been able to locate transportation to Asheville from which the flights leave. It's about a 3-hour drive, and we even have a driver, as I understand. The 25 to 30 veterans need to arrive on Friday night, and they return to Ashe on Sunday. Do you happen to know any place that would be able to help provide a bus, transportation for free, or severely reduced cost? I'm also told the local charter might cost around $3,000. Veterans have to pay their own hotel stay, and some of them don't have the means to drive, so we are trying to find a solution for everyone. So I wrote back to this gentleman and I said, okay, I need to know where's the hotel, how much the hotel costs for the night, and then the other thing is, in each one of these counties, is there a pickup location? And once I find out all this information, I'm firing out to the churches, and I'm going to say, hey, guys are going to be picked up certain locations in this county, and so forth. And then I need to know what time do they have to be picked up when they come back on Sunday from the honor flight? So I'm telling you guys so that if any of you are interested, I'll give Brent these letters and you can take them to your church and see if your pastors want to get on board with this. And it's just a great effort, and it's just something that I'm really happy to do and take care of the vets. I am a Vietnam era vet. I was on 3 World War II destroyers in the engine rooms. I went to the VA because I have tinnitus, and the doctor's typing. He says, "When did you notice you had tinnitus?" I said, "The first day I stepped into that engine room." So I hope all you guys get what you need from your VSOs and from the VA, but I'm fighting against the VA or with you guys to get more help to more veterans. So God bless all of you, and thank you very much.